A dog walks into a room. A cat is sitting quietly in the corner. For a second, nothing happens. The dog notices the cat notices the dog, and then, one tiny movement, one twitch of a tail, one shift of weight, and the whole room changes. The dog rushes forward. The cat freezes, hisses, then bolts under the nearest sofa. We watch this happen and we say, almost automatically, of course, cats and dogs hate each other. It feels obvious, doesn't it? They fight in cartoons. They chase each other in movies. We even use them in our language, fighting like cats and dogs, as the perfect example of two creatures that simply cannot get along. But have you ever stopped to ask why? Why does this rivalry feel so automatic? Why does one small movement from a cat make a dog rush forward? Why does one step from a dog make a cat prepare for war? And why can a normal, peaceful living room turn into a chase scene in just a few seconds? People usually call it hate, but animals don't need stories, jokes, or cartoons to react. Something is happening before the fight begins, before the bark, before the hiss, before the claws, before the chase. There's a moment, a single, quiet moment, when two very different animals look at each other, and something inside them switches on. So the real question is this: why are cats and dogs enemies? And what is actually happening inside that first, dangerous second? To answer that, we have to forget the cartoon for a moment. A cartoon cat and a cartoon dog already know they're enemies. They wake up inside the story, fully prepared for war. But real animals don't live inside human jokes. A dog doesn't see a cat and think, ah, there's my ancient rival. A cat doesn't see a dog and think, this species insulted my ancestors. Real animals work far faster than that. They read movement, distance, sound, size, speed, smell, posture, and memory. And they do it in fractions of a second. That's why a cat and dog meeting can feel so explosive. By the time a human even notices something is wrong, the animals may already be several reactions ahead. Let's start with the dog. For the dog, the first trigger usually isn't hate, it's motion. Dogs come from a long line of social hunters. Now, modern dogs aren't wolves, and most house pets aren't hunting for their dinner in the living room, but many of them still carry old systems deep inside, systems that respond powerfully to fast movement. A small animal darts across the floor. The dog's body snaps to attention. The eyes lock on. The muscles tense. The legs prepare. And the chase can begin before the dog has truly decided anything at all. Now, this doesn't mean every dog wants to hurt a cat. Far from it. Some dogs are curious. Some are playful. Some are nervous. Some have almost no chase drive at all, while others have a very high one. But for a lot of dogs, a running cat becomes the single most exciting thing in the entire room. The trouble is, the cat doesn't experience any of that excitement the same way. Because to the cat, a dog is not just some goofy creature trying to play. A dog is bigger, louder, faster than expected, often direct, often unpredictable. And here's the key. Cats are hunters too, but they're also small enough to be hunted. That combination changes everything. A cat can catch a mouse or a bird with ease, but that doesn't mean it feels safe when a much larger animal comes rushing toward it. So the cat's body prepares. The back arches, the ears flatten or swivel, the pupils widen, the claws get ready, and suddenly, the escape route becomes the most important thing in the world. Here's what's so easy to misunderstand. The cat may not be planning a fight at all. It may be desperately trying to avoid one. But from the outside, avoidance can look exactly like hostility. A hiss can sound like pure anger. An arched back can look dramatic and aggressive. A swat of the paw can look like a launched attack. But in reality, those signals are often saying something much simpler. Stay away. Don't come closer. I need space. And this is where the rivalry gets truly complicated. Because cats and dogs are both predators, but they are not the same kind of predator. Dogs tend to move into the world socially. They investigate, they approach, they follow, they sniff, they push into your space, they close distance. Cats, on the other hand, often survive by controlling distance. They pause, they watch, they hide, they climb, they retreat, and they strike only when they absolutely must. So when these two animals meet, their deepest instincts can collide head-on. The dog thinks, go closer. The cat thinks, make space. The dog steps forward. The cat backs away. The dog becomes more interested. The cat becomes more defensive. Nothing has even happened yet, and already, The entire scene is bending toward conflict. And then comes the most famous part of all. The cat runs, and the dog chases. To us humans, this looks like final proof. See? The dog hates the cat hates the dog. But a chase is not always a war. Sometimes it's prey drive, sometimes it's play, sometimes it's pure excitement, sometimes it's just poor impulse control. And very often, it's simply a mistake that turns dangerous, because the two animals are playing by completely different rules. For the dog, running is an invitation to follow. For the cat, running is a desperate attempt to escape. That single difference can turn a quiet hallway into a battlefield. The dog follows faster. The cat panics harder. The cat hisses or scratches. The dog barks or lunges. The human shouts. And now, both animals have learned something. The dog learns that cats create explosive, thrilling excitement. The cat learns that dogs are absolutely terrifying. And the very next meeting begins with that memory already loaded and ready. This is how a rivalry grows, without either animal ever needing real hatred. One bad encounter becomes a warning. Two bad encounters become a pattern. A pattern becomes an expectation, and expectation changes the body before the next meeting even begins. The cat sees the dog and prepares early. The dog sees the cat and gets excited early. The fight starts before the fight even starts. But there's another hidden layer underneath all of this. Cats and dogs don't actually speak the same body language. They both use their tails, their eyes, their ears, their mouths, their posture, their distance. But the meanings don't always line up. A dog might approach with a loose, happy, excited body. But the cat reads that direct approach as pressure, even a threat. A dog might sniff in close to gather information. But the cat feels cornered and trapped by that very closeness. A dog might bark out of pure excitement. But the cat hears a loud, booming warning from a much larger creature. A dog's wagging tail can mean high arousal. A cat's flicking tail can mean irritation and tension. The same body part. A completely different message. So the real problem isn't only instinct, it's translation. Two animals walk into the same room, but they aren't reading the same sentence. The dog is sending, "Come, let's interact." The cat is receiving, "Threat approaching." The cat is sending, "Back off." The dog is receiving, "More movement, more excitement." That's how misunderstanding becomes motion, and motion becomes a chase, and a chase becomes the story we humans call enemies. But here's the most important part. If cats and dogs were truly built to hate each other, we would expect the exact same result every single time. And we simply don't see that. Some dogs completely ignore cats. Some cats stand their ground, calm and unbothered. Some pairs work out a quiet, unspoken agreement. They may never become close, but they stop treating every single meeting like an emergency. Now, this doesn't erase the danger. A strong dog with a high chase drive can seriously injure a cat. A frightened cat can scratch a dog's face. Size, breed tendencies, past experience, temperament, the home environment, all of it matters. But the simple fact that the outcome can change tells us something powerful. This rivalry is not a fixed law of nature. It's a risk, created by biology, by movement, by fear, by learning, and by timing. An early experience can make all the difference in the world. A puppy that grows up around calm, confident cats may learn that cats are just a normal part of life. A kitten that meets a gentle dog safely may learn that a dog is not automatically a disaster. The key word there is safely, not throwing them together and hoping, not forcing a friendship, not letting the dog chase just for fun, not trapping the cat in a room with no way out. Safe learning gives both animals the time to build a brand new category in their minds. This is not prey. This is not danger. This is just a housemate. And even then, they may never become best friends. And honestly, they don't need to be. Peace alone is already a huge achievement between two species with such different instincts. A dog and a cat can absolutely share a home, because they can learn boundaries. The dog learns not to rush in. The cat learns it always has escape routes. The human controls those crucial first meetings. The environment gives the cat height, distance, and a sense of safety. The dog gets rewarded for staying calm and is never allowed to practice the chase. And over time, that dangerous first second slowly becomes less dangerous. The switch stops flipping so easily. The room stays quiet. And the old, familiar story finally starts to lose its power. So, why are cats and dogs enemies? The truth is, they're not enemies in the way we humans imagine enemies. They aren't born with some secret, built-in cartoon hatred. They only look like enemies because their very first meeting can fire up ancient systems incredibly fast. A dog sees movement, and it may chase. A cat sees an approach, and it may defend. The dog gets excited. The cat wants distance. One moves closer. The other moves away. The chase begins, and the memory stays. After that, we humans give the whole scene one simple little name: enemies. But the real story is so much sharper than that. It's a clash of speed and caution, a clash of social approach and private space, a clash of chase and escape, a clash of two animal languages that sometimes use the very same signals to mean completely different things. That's why the rivalry feels so automatic. Not because cats and dogs are destined to hate each other, but because those first few seconds between them can be filled with pure confusion before either animal ever gets the chance to truly understand the other. A cat and a dog can stand in the exact same living room and experience two completely different worlds. That's why the same meeting can look so different depending on who's watching. To us, it might look like a simple fight, but inside the animals, the moment is moving so much faster. One body is asking, "Should I follow?" The other is asking, "Should I escape?" Neither one has to be evil. Neither one has to be planning a war. The trouble only begins when both of those answers happen at the exact same time. For one, the moment feels like curiosity. For the other, it feels like danger. And when curiosity runs straight toward danger, the oldest chase in the house begins.